Check test. Check one, two. Laptop. அங்க இதுக்குள்ள போட்டுருக்கேன். ரெடியாங்க ஓகே. Check, check, testing one, two, check, check, testing one, two, check, check, testing one, two, check, mic test one, two, check, check, testing one, two.
Check. Check, check, check. 1, 2, check. YouTubeல வருதா? சரி, இங்க வாங்க. இது மாத்தா மட்டும் போதும். சரி, இப்போ வேற ஒரு புது வீடியோ வந்ததுன்னா இதை மட்டும் காப்பி பண்ணி பேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு செக் செக் செக். ஓகே பாலா, இது மட்டும் மாஸ்க் பண்ணிடலாம்.
சார் இன்வைட் பண்ணிடுறேன். அதாவது சார்ட்ட சொல்லிட்டேன் ஆல்ரெடி. Good afternoon, everybody. We will start the last parallel session of the IAHC. This session will be chaired by Professor Ajit Kumar. I just introduce him. Dr. Ajit Kumar is the founder head of the Department of Archaeology, University of Kerala. He was the chairman of the Department Council, chairman of Doctoral Committee, chairman of Board of Studies, and the board member of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Academics Council, and also Senate member. He was the director of School of Social Sciences and professor and head of the Department of Archaeology before his retirement in March 2020. As an author and editor, he has 9 books to his credit and 6 volumes of journal. 3 books or monographs authored by him include Sculptural Art in Early Buddhist Hinayana, Cave of Western Maharashtra, a Stylochronos Study 2013, Forts of Kerala, Historical and Architectural Account 2017, and Art Rupester, Petroglyphs, I think I pronounced correctly, and Pictographs in Kerala, Rock Art in Kerala 2018. 2 single edited books include Archaeology in Kerala, Emerging Trends in 2011, Harappan Culture Problems and Issues in 2012, Rock Art, Recent Researchers and New Perspectives, Fetcher to Padma Shri Dr. Yashodhar Matpal in 2015. He had organized various national and international conferences and workshops under his leadership. He has also participated and also presented papers in various international and national seminars, conferences, and workshops. As part of his academic pursuits, he has visited countries like Sweden, Sri Lanka, Iran, China, and also other countries like France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, etc. I think he has visited most of the countries. He is committee member of various archaeological art organizations like Indian Archaeological Society, Delhi, and many. He was listed in the panel of eminent archaeologists drawn by the Secretary, Minister of Culture, Government of India. He was bestowed with the Academic Excellence Award in 2020 by the University of Kerala. His research paper proposal has been accorded sanction for the Tagore Fellowship by the Ministry of Culture in 2019 with Archaeological Survey of India as the nodal institution. Now I invite Professor Ajit Kumar to chair the session. The first speaker will be Mr. K.N. Akhil, and it's a combined paper with the Dr. Preeta Nair. Now over to you, sir. Kindly restrict your paper within the stipulated time. For each presentation, we are given 15 minutes. So kindly, like accordingly, you just present your paper. Thank you. So that we will hear the full paper.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start our first presentation by K.N. Akhil and Dr. Preeta Nair. Dr. Preeta Nair, as you know, is currently the head of the Department of Archaeology in University of Kerala. Akhil is her research student and doing his PhD under her. So Akhil, you have 15 minutes as you're saying. You 12 minutes will be given to you, and then if there are questions, we'll let you know. Right? Okay. So your time starts now. Okay.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for allowing me to present a paper here. And my topic is regarding the Veenas and Veenadharis in Kerala sculptures. Of course, you all know Veena is one of the instruments having greater number of varieties in India and is considered as a divine musical instrument. So during the Vedic period, the term Veena was considered as a generic term for the stringed instruments. Usually, they were used to accompany the Vedic chants, and the term Veena is derived from Vana, which means sound and tone together. It belongs to the category chordophones, means the instrument is having chords or strings. The main components of a modern veena is like it has two resonators. One is the main resonator and the other is second resonator. Then there will be a neck-like thing that will be connects the two resonators, and there will be frets that's placed on top of the fretboard, and then there is pegs, strings, and bridge. So the mechanism of veena is like when the string is plugged, the sound is transferred from the frets to the resonator, and the air inside the resonator vibrates, and which gives a louder and audible sound. So there are many stories regarding the origin of the veena. The first one is regarding based on the Saint Narada. Narada is believed to be the inventor of veena, and his veena is called the Mahadi veena. In Vayupurana, there is an interesting story like once Narada was accompanying the dance of Urvashi, and suddenly his veena made some mistakes. So on seeing this, Saint Agastya cursed the Narada's veena to become the veena of the world, and later. And the next is the Rudra veena, which is believed to be created by Lord Shiva. The instrument was inspired by the voluptuous supreme form of his wife. Then the Saraswati veena, which is believed to be invented by goddess Saraswati. And in Bharatavashya, the origin of bowed veena is connected with Ravana. Even though the legends connect the origin with divine characters, the material evidence give another type of story. Like the veena is believed to be evolved from a hunter's bow, and the second image shown over here is from the Bhakti Undal cave of Panchmari Hills, where we can clearly see a primitive man is holding a bow-like instrument having multiple strings and a small resonator on bottom. So, so the story is like this. Probably the primitive man have noted the booming sound, and later multiple strings were added, and for making the sound more audible, the resonator were added. But when the vocal music evolved, this harp-like veena became handicapped for making the slurs, so the gamagas. So a lute-like instrument was later evolved, like having a neck-like structure, and which helped the player to make the slurs. And later the frets were added, and which gradually evolved into the modern veena. So there are various texts referring the term means various stringed instruments. In Vedic literature, there is veena, vana, karkari, pinga, and in the later Vedic text Aranyaka, the human body itself is considered as the divine musical instruments. And in sutras, different veenas like Kanda veena, Gotha veena, Karkarika veena, and others were mentioned. In Ramayana, Ramayana compares the buzzing of bee with the sound of lute. And in Chilapadigaram, a good description of yal. Yal is a primitive fretless veena similar to the harp-like instrument. And the Bharatamuni's Natya Shastra divided the whole musical instrument into four, like Tadavadya, Avanadavadya, Ganam, and Sushiram. And the codophones means the stringed instruments belong to the category Tadam. And according to him, Mattakogila was the principal veena, and he also refers other veenas like Chitra veena, Vipanji. And in Narada Shiksha, Gatra veena is considered as the first musical instrument, and Darvi veena as the man-made equivalent. And there are many other texts like Bharatavashya, Sangita Sudhagaram, Bharadakosha, and others, which gives good description of various types of stringed instruments. And there is an interesting thing in Sangita Ratnagara, like he attributed different gods to the different parts of veena, like Shiva with body, Parvati with strings, Vishnu with bridge, and others. So that's why he is saying like this veena is having many gods, so it's considered as the divine musical instrument. Now let us go to the musical instruments, stringed musical instrument that is seen in Kerala sculptures. The main types of veena seen in Kerala are veena, tumburu, the bowed veena, and stick sitar. They are mainly seen on sculptures and murals, but the current paper is just discussing on the sculptures, and usually they are seen on the monoscenic and sequential sculptures. So first we can go through a few examples, means that instrument veena. So the instrument that seen in the in Kerala sculptures are small and portable type of veena. They are identified by the shape of the veena and the playing styles. Means so the veena is identified by the playing style, means the player will be shown as playing the instrument with one of his hands, and his left hand, the other hand will be shown as placed on the strings. So that's the main identification mark for veena. So this is a comparison between a modern veena and an ancient veena. So a few classifications are made on the basis of player's position. Sometimes the player will be shown as standing, or while some other time he is shown as sitting. Then the classification may also be made based on the position of the instrument. Sometimes he will be shown as holding the instrument in a vertical way, while in some category it's shown as in horizontal way. And on the basis of resonator, as we have already mentioned, this is the main resonator, and here the other thing is the additional resonator. So classification can also be made based on the number of resonator. Here there is 2 resonator, and here there is only 1 resonator. And the main characters associated with this type of veena is Saraswati, Narada, and terrestrials means a lady player. And interestingly, there is an image of Ravana playing on a veena that's in a stone sculpture from Vasudevaram Sri Krishna Swami temple. And the next category is tamburu. So it's a drone instrument and is named after the Gandharva tamburu. And similar to veena, it's also having a similar shape, but the difference is like he will be shown as only playing the strings, means his other hand will be not placed on the fretboard to press the strings. So that's the identification for tamburu. Here we can clearly see the modern tamburu player who is using only one hand to play the instrument. So here also the classification can be made mainly based on the position of tamburu. Like he'll be either shown as holding the instrument in a vertical position or as in a horizontal position. The next classification can be made based on the player's position or playing style. Like he'll be either seated or sometime he will be like standing. And the main characters are associated here are Narada and terrestrials. Okay, there is sometimes there will be a scenario like the instrument cannot be distinguished as veena or tamburu. Here we can observe like here Nataraja is shown only as holding the instrument. So it's very difficult to identify whether it's a veena or tamburu. Here in all these cases, the instrument is just shown as only just holding, and there is no intention to play. So it's very difficult to identify whether it's a veena or tamburu. Then the next category is the bowed veena, and it is identified by its shape as well as the bow that is used to play the instrument. In Kerala, at present Kerala, this type of veena is associated with the Puluva community. Here is a lady playing the Puluva veena, and here is an ancient image of bowed veena. So here also the classification can be mainly made based on whether the player is shown as holding the instrument or as playing the instrument. Here we can clearly see like this form of Nataraja is holding a veena, and there is a small stick-like thing which is held together with the veena, and that's a bowed veena. And here the player is shown as playing the veena. So that's a type of category. And then the classification can be made based on the position of the player. Either he will be shown as standing or as seated. And the main characters associated with the bowed type veena are Nataraja, Ardhanari, Narada, Shiva's associate, and terrestrial. This is an image from Varapalli Shiva temple. Here it's an Ardhanari playing on a bowed veena, and this is a female veena player, bowed veena player from the Chunakara temple. Then the next category is the stick sitar. So there is usually the main difference between a modern veena and a stick sitar is like the resonator, or the part which makes the sound loud, can be separated in a stick sitar type veena. So here the resonator is along with the main part of the veena. So that's the main difference between a stick sitar and a modern veena. And here the classification can be made mainly based on the fretted, like means here if you observe this stick like veena, there he can clearly see some spikes. That's the sign of frets, and here there is no frets. So the classification can be mainly based on the fret. And there is an interesting category where stick sitar is acting as a drone. Stick sitar means here he is playing the instruments only with only one hand. So it's like a tambura or a drone like stick sitar. And here, the next classification can be mainly based on the number of resonator. Here, the instrument is devoid of resonators. Here we can see one resonator, and this is a double resonated veena. So the next classification can be mainly based on the position of the player. Either he will be shown as standing or as seated. And the main characters associated are the Naradas, Gopis, Shiva's associate, and male and female player. And on the basis of analysis, a few conclusions are made. Veenas and Veenadharis are seen in wooden sculptural art of Kerala than in stone sculptures. The Veena, Tumburu, Baud Veena, and Stiksita are the variety of stringed instruments noted in the hands of Veenadharis. They are shown either as holding or as playing the instrument. The Veenadharis commonly noted are Shiva, Saraswati, Narada, and terrestrials. They are shown as standing, sitting, or as dancing postures. And there are a few musicians that are shown with unconventional postures. Like here, the player is a left-handed player, and he is seated in an unconventional posture, and he is playing a baud veena. And here, the player is dancing. That may be probably like he's an expert in, to show that he is expert in handling the instrument. The string instruments are associated with musical processions as well as solo performance. Here, the two type of veena, the baud as well as the sixth players are associated with a musical procession. And the traditional musical culture of Kerala gives stress on percussion instruments, but whereas in sculptural representation, more emphasis is given on the stringed instruments. And the stick sitar, which is prominent in sculptural art, is not seen in present scenario. And at present, the baud veena is confined only to the Puluva community. And there is an interesting image from the Kudal Manikan table where a player who is having a four-leg look is playing a veena. And thank you.
Any questions? Okay, your presentation was, Akhil, it was good. You dealt with string instruments, literary reference, origin, and you also went into some of the sculptural representations and then tried to show what are the string instruments available according to the string, the position of the player, and things like that. I also wish to add that if you could chronologically sequence some of these, so that we can actually trace out the evolution of that particular string instrument from various. So if you could put it chronologically also, because you never mentioned about chronology, and most of the sculptures you show are rather medieval and old. So if you can make a comparison of some of these things with the earlier forms which are there and represented elsewhere, and also to try to see if you can chronologically paste these sculptures in some manner, I think that will also be, you can also try to bring out the evolution of that particular sculptural and that particular issue or continuity of certain instruments into modern times. Okay, nice presentation. Okay. Can I call the next presenter, please? K. Bhagyalakshmi. Okay. Mrs. K. Bhagyalakshmi is working as an archaeological officer in the Department of Archaeology, Government of Tamil Nadu.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Anaivarakkum vanakkam. First, let me thank the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I wish to thank my commissioner also for having given the opportunity to participate in the seminar. Thank you. My topic is Kottravai in ancient Tamil society. So, when we listen, when we see Kottravai, immediately we go back to Mother Goddess. Yes. So Mother Goddess for the concept of, motherhood, fertility, procreation, and continuity of life. So Mother Goddess means we all know. First, when we see so many terracotta figurines, we could find from various archaeological excavations from the beginning of Indus Valley till now. The topic is based on Mother Goddess. I have added this figure, terracotta figure, which was found from Indus Valley. So many terracotta figurines we found from Indus Valley and Mohenjo-daro, Harappa excavation, all tell about, the motherhood. This is one more figure, nursing mother from Harappa. And this we all know, famous dancing girl, or we can tell as female deity from Mohenjo-daro. So the same, the bronze figurine is drew in terracotta potsherd also. And so many seals are there depicting the female figurines. Mother Goddess Kottravai, which means success, victory, bravery, heroism, power, strength, empowerment, ruler, etc. In Tamil, Kottravai means we all must be knowing Durga, Mahishasura-mardini, we all tell. So Kottram means valor, success, victory. Kotravan means king, and Kotravi means queen. So we can understand these all words, Kotravan, Kotravi, Kotram, all are interrelated, which tell us victory, success, power, heroism, and all. So again, these are the figurines of Mother Goddess. This you all must be, you would have seen. This is from, the first one is from Udayanatham in Viluppuram district. And the other one is Motur, near Senji in Tamil Nadu. So these are, till now, these are worshipped by those village people as Mother Goddess. So Kottravai, from where we got the name, when we see, we can, from the Sangam literature, we can have the names for Kottravai as Mother Goddess, Selvi, Anangu, all those names are, covered as Mother Goddess, though, but from Silapadigaram only, we are getting the name Kottravai. So here it's given, Kalai Amar Selvi Kadan Unin Alladu. Ivalo Kongat Selvi Kudamalai Aati. These are the references from Silapadigaram. First, let me describe this. You all would have seen this. This is from Adichanallur, terracotta figurine. You all know. Here, female figurine is there. Here, when you see, can you see this? This is deer, Kalaiman in Tamil we say. And here, the kokku, the bird is there. Same way, here also in this Kotravai figure also, statue also, you could see this Kalaiman as the Vahanam, as the vehicle of goddess Kotravai. Same way, bird is also depicted. And now we could find Kotravai or Durga or Mahishasuramardini on the where Mahishasuramardini is standing, we all know, on the bull Mahisha. Okay. So here in this figure, we can see the Kalaiman as her Vahanam, and she is seated on the bull head also. So both we could see here. So Kotravai, generally when we see Kotravai, she is the goddess of Palai region. In Tamil Nadu, we had 5 regions, you all must be knowing: Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, Palai. When Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam and Neidal became dry, you know, we got this, we say as Palai. So Palai Nilam, Palai land is the dry land. There is less agriculture, less farming. So the people belong to the region were mostly fierce robbers, and they worshipped goddess Kotravai. She was started calling as, Kali, Mahishasuramardini, in all names. When she was angry or ferocious against the enemies of her devotees, otherwise she is, we all know, she is the mother goddess, so graceful. She is also known as Samhari, Shuli, Gauri, Neeli, Kumari, etc. So she had been referred in Tamil Sangam literature till the period of Tirunjana Sambandar period. Even Tirunjana Sambandar referred goddess Durga's Vahanam as Kalayadurdi, which means Kalaiman. This deer is as her Vahanam. So from Silappadigaram period till Tirunjana Sambandar, that is 7th century, CE, Kotravai's Vahanam was mentioned as Kalaiman, deer only. Later only, we started creating her Vahanam as lion or tiger. This is from Periyakandigai near Viluppuram. Sir?
What is the tentative date of the sculpture?
Maybe I think 6th or 6th century, like that only, 6th or 7th only. So Kotravai, as I said earlier, first evidence we have got from Tamil literature, Kotravai in Silappadigaram only. Before that, she was known as Anangu, Selvi, Pavai, Kollipavai, like that. So Kotravai, she was a goddess of Yainer community. Is mentioned in Silappadigaram's 12th chapter. And when Kovalan and Kannagi were going towards Madurai from Urayur, they saw the tribes. So they were worshipping the goddess Durga, and they were giving sacrifice, offering their blood after cutting their necks. So this is the prayer of them. So skilled within sword fighting, that lady who stood on head of that double-bodied, broad-shouldered Asura, the goddess is worshipped via many names. Kumari, who is young, Gauri. In Tamil, we say as Gauri, Samhari, which means one who killed Mahisha. These are from Silappadigaram. Kotravai was worshipped not only by the Palai region people, even the kings, Chera, Chola, Pandya, Vijayanagara, even Nayaka also worshipped goddess Durga. We all must be knowing, before going to the war, they used to worship goddess Durga only. So Kotravai, Cheras worship Kotravai in Paditrupattu. Through Paditrupattu, we come to know as Airai. So Airai is mentioned for Kotravai only here. Here also Vidirtha Kuvavu Chotru Kundrodu. In this poem also, Kotravai is mentioned as Airai. And here in Tirumurugatrupadai, She was mentioned as Malaimagal and Kottravai, Parayol in so many names. Malaimagal, we all know, Parvati we say, Kottravai and Parayol. And Kottravai Kolam Kondor Pen. Like that, in Paribadal, she was mentioned. So Kottravai, immediately, as we hear the word Kottravai, immediately we, in Tamil Nadu, in near Chennai, Mamallapuram, immediately Panchapandava Rathas, we assume. In Mamallapuram, this is Draupadi Ratha, famous Ratha, you know. Here, this Kottravai Ratham is in the form of hut type. Kucharam we say. So Kucharam means Gudisai, hut. So generally in Sangam literature, Kottravai was, placed in Gudisai only, according to Sangam literature. The same thing only depicted in Mamallapuram also. So here you could see one of the niches in Devakostam, Kottravai's figure on Mahisha. Here, Kottravai inside the, inside the thing, Garbhagraham, in Draupadi Ratha, Kottravai as Durga. She is standing on the lotus here actually, not on Mahisha, on the lotus. Here also in Varahamandapam at Mamallapuram, we can see Kottravai. Here, Durga. So Kottravai, who became Durga later on, here actually as Mahishasura Mardini. Since she is sitting on the, her Vahanam Singam, lion, she is, killing Mahisha. She is attacking Mahisha here. So Durga is laying the buffalo-headed demon Mahishasura. So Mahishasura Mardini cave at Mamallapuram. So as I said, from Chera, then Pallava we saw, here Chola. So Vijayala Chola, who was the establisher of Chola dynasty, he after winning Pallavas, he worshipped Nishimba Sudani, again who was the goddess of their family. So he worshipped, and after winning, he built a temple at Tanjavur. The temple is there now also. During 9th century. So Nishimba Sudani Durga, he captured Tanjavur in 850 AD. It is dedicated to goddess Nishimba Sudani Durga. So according to this was mentioned in Tiruvalangadu copper plates, during the Chola period, this temple was set up. So the inscription also.
Excuse me, you have just 2 minutes left.
Okay, sir. Tanjapurim Sauda Sudanga Ragam Jagraharantum Ravi Vamsha Deepaham. In this shloka, so it is mentioned, having next consecrated the image of Nishimba Sudani, whose lotus feet are worshipped by gods and demons, he, Vijayalaya Chola, by the grace of the goddess, bore just as a garland the whole earth resplendent with garment of the 4 oceans. So Kottravai in Pallava style. These are the figurines from Viluppuram district. This is from, belonging to Chola period, Kottravai. This is also from Viluppuram district only. And this is from famous big temple, Tanjavur big temple, in one of the niches. So Kottravai, when we see archaeological discoveries suggest that these iconography features of Durga became common throughout India by about the 4th century CE, states David Kinsley. So David Kinsley in his book Hindu Goddesses, he is stating that from 4th century, Kottravai became common throughout India. So Durga iconography in some temples appears as part of Mahavidyas or Saptamatrikas, the 7 mothers considered forms of Durga. Thank you.
This paper is open for discussion. Any questions as such?
Then the other region has Mahishasuramardini, Kali, Durga, in all the other names only. Kottravai is a name for Tamil region only. Kottram. From Kottram, we are getting. Kottram means victory, success.
I just wanted to, I've just a question. Is Kotravi just a synonym of Durga, Mahishasuramardini? Because in the ones which you emphasize as Kotravi, you notice that there was a deer in the representation. You showed towards the last also there is a representation where deer is shown as a Vahana. But normally in Durga and Mahishasuramardini, that is not known. So should we take deer as an iconographical character of Kotravi, or do you, put it along with Durga itself? Does Kotravi does it have a separate iconographical cognizance or any emblem that says that if this is there, then it should be called Kotravi? Like Mahishasuramardini, when she is attacking Asura, it is okay, or trying to kill him, it is okay. You call it a Mahishasuramardini. But if you are standing on the head of a Mahisha, then it is not Mahishasura. She's not killing Mahishasura. So that difference is there. So similarly in Kottravai, is there any iconographical cognizance we say if this is there, then it's better to call it as Kottravai?
I have understood, sir. Actually, in the first picture, you would have seen, Kottravai on the buffalo-headed Mahishasura with Kalaiman, with the deer. So later, when we see in Mamalapuram, this Panchapandava Ratha, so Kottravai, there also standing on the Mahishasura. Here, the next to the Ratham, we all know the Vahanam is there as lion. And the Kottravai is also there in hut, thing only. So hut, we say Kucharam, Gudisai. So connecting all these, I have understood, like, Kottravai only became Mahishasuramardini, Kali, Durga, like that.
I think yeah, please. Please, ma'am.
And her Vahana or her animal is the tiger. So how the deer and tiger are very different. So tiger is like Shakti. So, Shakti rides a tiger. Durga rides a lion, sometimes a tiger. So how the deer has come in, not much research has been done. That is a good area for you to study further and find out why the deer is associated, because there is no known association of Kottravai. Kottravai comes from probably comes from the plant Kotran, which is a prickly plant, something like the Kejarli. But there is no literary evidence.
But in Silappatikaram, ma'am,
Huh?
Silappatikaram is telling for Kottravai, her Vahanam is deer only. Even in Adichanallur terracotta figure, with the figure we are getting.
Yeah, you have a lot of figures with the deer. But Tolkapir, which is the oldest, says her Vahana is the tiger. I think you can do more research on the deer. It's a very good topic for iconography. Why is she associated? I don't know.
Okay, ma'am. We'll do research on this. Thank you, sir.
Here that clarity is not there, that what exactly is the scene. Earlier picture you have to ask you to take notes. You also pronounce the sequence in
because even Trinyana Sambandar said, I have told, sir, Kalaya Durdi only he has mentioned in his Devaram. So that's the.
Anyway, it's an interesting paper. Now there's further scope, as Madam said, you can
Thank you, sir.
definitely work on it more intricately. Okay, thank you for the paper. Now I call on the next presenter, Dr. V. Sandhya Lakshmi, ma'am. Dr. V. Sandhya Lakshmi, ma'am, has done her MA, MPhil and PhD in Ancient Indian History and Archaeology from the. It will be 12 minutes and then 3 minutes. 12. I'll let you know after 12 minutes, then we can continue up to 15. She has done her Ancient Indian History and Archaeology from University of Madras. Her PhD thesis was an iconography of Kartikeya, and which was published by CPR Institute of Indological Research. She is an assistant professor in historical studies of CPR Institute in Indological Research, and guides students registered for PhD. She has written several research articles and is also in reputed journals and presented papers at various seminars and conferences. Over to you, madam.
Respected chairperson, director, and other scholars, and other professors. I agree. Iconography of, my topic is iconography of Sudarshana Chakra. The Sudarshana Chakra is one of the Pancha Ayudas of Vishnu. Sudarshana Chakra denotes Vishnu's will to be Swayam Idhi Sankalpa. Sudarshana Chakra means it's a good darshan, it's auspicious vision. So in the beginning, in the Rig Veda, it is referred as Sudarshana Chakra is referred as a solar disc. In the Mahabharata, it is mentioned as a Chakranamsa Sudarshanam. The Agni presented this chakra to Krishna, and then the chakra, it's the ability to return to the wielder in his hand. Okay, so I would like to give you a brief introductory note about. What these are the following literature stocks. Sudarshana Chakra is also named as Chakra Talvar, Tiruvayalvar, Chakra Perumal. Okay, these are the literary sources which gives elaborate information about the Chakra, Sudarshana Chakra. The Pancharatna Agama is one of the important Agama which describes about the Sudarshana Chakra. Agir Budayana Sangha gives lot of okay. So Agir Budayana Samgita is one of the important Samgita which talks about the iconographic form of Sudarshana, both 8 and the 16 Nam Sudarshana, in where the Sudarshana Purusha has a Jwala Kesam and Trinetram, and then body bent at an angle and dreadful appearance, for fire emanating from his tongue, and mouth studded with terrible teeth, crooked eyebrows, rolling eyeballs, and then 8-armed with holding a mighty weapon, adorned with all ornaments, including jingling anklets. Similarly, other Samgitas, Parameshwar Samgita, Shesha Samgita, all the Samgitas talked about. When come to the Vihendra Samgita, it mentioned about the reverse side of the Sudarshana Purusha is a Yoga Narasimha is seen on the reverse side of Sudarshana Chakra. And then Sodasha Sayadasosam is one of the important devotional hymns of Chakra. Vedanta Desika. Similarly, Sudarshana Ashtakam, the Pancharatna Ashtakam, everything is mentioned about that. When it comes to the Sudarshana Satakam, which was written by Kuranarayana Jiva, it consists of 100 slokas, which also talks about the iconographic form of Chakra Talvar. And then Silparatna is also mentioned about that. Okay. So I would like to give a brief introductory note about the evolution, about the development of iconographical development of chakra. These are the chakra. Some time from it. I'll move on to that now.
You can slow down.
Okay. You said so you have only 12 minutes. Okay. Okay, sir. So I won't take much time. Okay. This is a chakra from Vrishni coin, belong. 1st century BC, and Vasudeva Krishna from Indo-Bactrian coin. This is from Mathura, Kushana. All these sculptures, the chakra has been in the form of, appears as a wheel, and then heavy and big, and spokes are in the petal shape. When come to the Gupta period, that is, the chakra has been mounted on a small pedestal. It's also similar to the above chakra. So you can see the Vishnu in the Metropolitan Museum. You can also, it's listed on the small pedestal. Okay, and then when come to the Pallava period, these edges are facing the spectator, as well as it's a semi-circle in shape, and it's like a boomerang, similar to the boomerang. And when come to the Chola period, it's a peculiar characteristic because the 4 marginal flames is rising. 4 marginal flames, apart from that one in the center of the nave, the flames are seen on the 5 places. This is a peculiar iconographic convention, peculiar to South India. Then this is an iconic form of chakra. This is found in almost all the Vishnu temples. It has been taken for doing the festival time to do Abhavarda Sthanam in the temple time. Okay. Next. in the beginning, at the beginning of the story, chakra was in the form of it, it's only a simple attribute of Vishnu, and then later it has been personified as a Chakra Purusha. That's in the Yoga Museum. You can see the Chakra Purusha. The second, last one. After that. So it's wheel like a. The last one, that one. This is Chakra Purusha. When come to the Chakra Purusha of the Kashmiri region, you can see he's holding a Chakra, that's a Chauri in his right hand. That is Dada Devi, and then this is a Chakra Purusha. He's holding a Chauri in his right hand. That's a wheel at the back of his Chakra Purusha. The next one. This is also similar to the Vishnu Vaikuntha Vishnu from from Chamba region. It's also 9th century from last Indian continuation. This is where the Chakra Purusha is holding a similar halo behind the head like Vishnu. So it want to show the similarity between the Vishnu and the Chakra Purusha. That's where in Chakra Purusha from Chola period, you can see the flame which is, that is chakra which is found on the top of the crown. Similarly, you can see. Now, so later the personified chakra, personified chakra purusha became is an independent, and in the guise of the Sudarshana Purusha is a separate deity in its own right. These are the various chakra purusha found in various temples. I will tell you the explanation. I will explain the. Chakra is Chakra Purusha, Sudarshana is standing in front of the Chadgona Chakra. That is a two interlaced triangle. That's Sudarshana Purusha is standing in front of Chakra is having a Jwala Kesam, the prominent of the flame rising from behind the Sudarshana head. இது பண்ணாலே என்னால பேச முடியாது சார். மைக் கொடுத்துறீங்களா? The Chakra Purusha is standing in front of the Chadgona Chakra. It's which is surrounded by a solid rim with a flame with the number may be varied from sculptures. The flame at the top of the bottom on either side greatly increased in size. This iconographic convention was taken from the Naraja image of Trivasi from Fiery Circle. So Jwala Kesam and Tirinetram is wearing a Srivacha mark on the chest, and then he's standing invariably if it is 8-arm chakra. So that chakra is invariably standing person Samavada Stanaga. If it is a 16-arm Sudarshana Purusha, he is depicted in two ways. That is standing Samavada. Another one is Pratyaharada pose. That is striding left leg, striding stride and left leg placing. Next. This is the Sudarshana Chakra from Varadaraja Swami temple. This is a very important, this is a peculiar sculpture, because it has 12 Kesava Murtis are there in this. Dwadasa Murtis are found in this Sudarshana Chakra. This most important iconographic feature. This is with the Yoga Narasimha, you can see on the reverse side. That is standing on the Naga was found on the pedestal. These are the various Kesava Murti forms are mentioned in this sculpture. This is from Sudarshana Chakra with 12 Dwadasa Murtis are found in this. This is from Tirumogur. This chakra is in the form of, and the Sudarshan chakra was in the form of Yendra, where is depicted the 4 concentric circle, each having four concentric cells around the Sargona chakra. Each the first one consists of 8 petals, the second one is 16, third one is 32, and fourth one is 64 petals. Each are written, Bijakshara mantras are written in this. This is Yoga Narasimha. This is a modern 20th century. The same Kesava Murtis are depicted in this. So the Sakara Purusha. Thank you very much. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I really, no, I'm really sorry that because of the time related issue made you nervous, and you have bit me hollow because I always speak very fast, and then I found somebody else who speaks more faster than me. So I'm in a way relieved. Anyway, no, it was no issue. Your presentation was good. Oh, because I understood that in your presentation, but the material which you presented was definitely, it has. It's over or what? Oh, I don't know. Is it over? Okay, shall I call the next presenter? Does she have any clarification? No, okay. Okay, the next presenter is going to be Dr. P. Sumabala. Dr. P. Sumabala is an assistant professor in the Department of Historical Studies, Kadamillat Government College for Women, Chennai. Her postdoctoral research was with the ICHR and on migration of communities between Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu and its impact on the history of South India. She has published books like Cultural Confluence in South Indian History, Diaspora in Ancient South India, and she has published nearly 100 articles in Indian and international journals. She is a professional consultant with the Walt Disney Company India Private Limited, Mumbai. On to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. Respected chairperson, faculty members, research scholars, and ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to one and all present here. First, I would like to thank the organizers, Indian Art History Congress and CPR Institute of Indiological Studies for giving me this opportunity. The title of my paper is Amalgamated Forms of Iha, Mrigas and Devas. Yeah. So every part of the world has its own culture, folklore, and mythology. And in every mythology, there are unique hybrid creatures. So there are several examples can be cited from different ancient civilizations, including Indus civilization. And here you can see different amalgamated forms, hybrid forms from Indus Valley civilization. And this is Greek harpy and Assyrian lamassu. They're all hybrid forms. And even Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain cultural and iconographic texts reflect several such instances of composite forms of human and animals. So the idea of amalgamation of mythical figures is common to all religions of the world. And the hybrid and fabulous combinations of human and animal or bird forms have resulted in numerous types of deities in Indian mythology. They can be classified as partly human hybrids and non-human hybrids combining 2 or more animal species. So in Indian mythology, we have seen Ganesha, Garuda, Hanuma, and this is Kamadhenu. And these are Ashwini Devatas. And this is Haigriva. And here is a Nandi. And this is Daksha Prajapati with his wife. And this is Vyaghrapada and Nagini. And this is Adisesha. And this is Mahisha. And these are in Dashavataras of Vishnu. We'll see Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and Narasimha Avataras. These therianthropic mythological creatures are represented in the sculptures, and this paper studies these amalgamated forms as found in the temples of South India. And some of them are a manifestation of gods, some are guardian deities, and some are Vahanas, and some are known for their devotion. They characterize the ferocious, as in the case of Sarabha and Vyala, prosperity as denoted by Kamadhenu, devotion as signified by Purushamriga, and act as Vahana, guardian of threshold, decorative motif and insignia as represented by Makara. And we have several references, that is literary sources, and Valmiki Ramayana in Sundarakanda. These are called as Ihamrigas, and Ihamrigas are decorated the palace, the pillars of the palace, and it is also mentioned in Samarangana Sutradhara as decorated with the figures of Ihamrigas like a bull, horse, and with man head, and Naratunga, bird, crocodile, and Kinnaras, etc. So when we see in a Sanskrit dictionary, the word Ihamriga mentions as it's a meaning for wolf. Or it is a non-mriga. Mriga is deer, which is non-deer is a wolf. They consider it as a wolf. And another meaning is it is one of the Dasarupakas. Dasarupakas are the Prahasana, Drama, Nataka, all these things. In one of the Dasarupaka is Ihamriga, where women and men, they used to fight, and they used to mount on hybrid variety of animals. So in that particular Rupaka, we'll find this term Ihamriga, and it is also mean as the attendants of Shiva, that is Pramadhaganas. So these Pramadhaganas are capable of attaining different forms, and when they attain this hybrid form, they are called as Ihamrigas. So this term became Vyala during the time of Gupta period. And before that, that is during Mahabharata, that is during epic period in different Puranic references, and even Kalidasa's Raghuvamsha, this is referred as Ihamriga. And they are referred as Ihamrigas with Gajanana, Hayanana, Simhanana, Vyagranana, Mrigendra Vadana, and Kharamukha, etc. And they are referred to as in Puranas like Matsya, Linga, Harivamsa, Vayu Purana, Brahma Purana, and Vamana Purana. And even we have Tamil resources for this, like Tamil literature, it was referred to as Yali, which is has the head of lion and tail, that is body and tail form of a lion, and tusk of an elephant, and it has a tail of a serpent. So these are referred to in the Sangam literature as Yalis. And in the literature, it is mentioned as Yali devouring upon a dragon, python beast, and Yali which was about to swallow the huge royal elephant, and Yali which was about to trample down the enemy general mounted upon a war horse. And they are said to be more powerful than the elephant and the lion. So where do we find these Yalis? On the pillar basis, Adhisthana portion of a temple, exterior walls of the pilasters, capitals and brackets of the pillars, shafts of the peripheral pillars of the pavilions. So these are the different types of Yalis we come across in the temples. Ashvayali, Gajayali, Gajendrayali, Gandaki Yali, Marjalayali, Meshayali, Mrigayali, Narayali, Shardulayali, Sarpayali, Simhayali, and Svanayali. So based on their face, that head portion, they have been mentioned. So these are different types of Yalis we come across in South Indian temples. And most common varieties are the Gajavyali, Simhayalis, and Ashwayali, Niryali, and Swanayalis. So these valleys on the temples of Pallava and early Chola period are splendid examples of concentrated energy in poise, but ready to bounce upon when an opportunity comes. And this is a unique rock cut shrine is situated adjacent to Athiranachanda Cave Temple at Salun Kuppam near Mamallapuram. And Athiranachanda is the title of Rajasimha Pallava, and this based on the title, we can say that is title and the inscription. We can say it is constructed in 8th century AD by Rajasimha Pallava. So a carved semicircle facade of a mandapa was embellished with 11 heads of a mythical yali, and the whole cave was showcasing the different profiles of yalis, right to left to front of his face. And each detail of this yali is just stunning the eyes with the canines that jet out the ferocious look. And these are the yalis from Kailasanath Temple, Kanchipuram. And now during this Chola period, the yalis came to the Adhisthana portion. These are from Agnishwara Temple. This is on under the cornice, that is both in the flanking the Devakoshtas. This is from Pulamangai, belong to Middle Chola period. And this is from Airavateshwara Temple. As we see in the Pallava pillars, on the basis of the pillars, we can see the yali, but instead of Simha yali, here we see the Gajav yali. And it recapitulates of a Pallava convention, but it rendering, it seems to put on a little barbaric and sinister mask. So now we have the Gajavyalas of Vijayanagar period. And these are from Velur Jalakanteshwara Temple. And one of this Gajavyala is from pillar, the Chaduram portion of the pillar. This belongs to early Vijayanagara period, and the other one is a later Nayak period, Gajavyala. And these are the Sardula Vyalas from Virinchipuram and Pulamangai. The Vyalas sprang to the action whose manifestation and impact were too violent as gleaned in the Kalyana Mandapa of Vijayanagar and early Nayak authorship. The fantastic and monstrous mongrels are here exaggerated out of all proportions, almost jarring the senses. And the Shardula Vyalas from Brahmapurishwara temple at Punamangai and from the Kalyana Mandapa of Margasahayeshwara temple at Virinchipuram are invested with the power almost elemental, and which is a hallmark of South Indian varieties. The grotesque and monstrous Sarpa Vyala from Kalyana Mandapa of Kanchi Varadaraj Swami temple rendered in the typical Vijayanagar style. And next one is from Nayak period from Sri Rangam. This Vyala is ambiguous, indefinable, and in extremely strange form. We can see that. And these are the Vyalas or Yalis, which are in the South Indian musical instrument Veena. And this is a Bobili Veena, and this is Nujividu Veena, and this is Tanjavur Veena. And all these Veenas, we can see this Vyala portion. And next one is Yari. This is a very ancient instrument, which is also referred to in the Sangam literature. And this is also in the form of a Yali. And now we come to another hybrid form of a god, the manifestation of Shiva, Sarabha. And Sarabhesa, there are several manifestations of Shiva. Some depict his fiercenesses, such as Pashupata Murti, Aghora Murti, Rakshogna Murti, Bhairava, Mahakala, Kalagni Rudri, and Sarabha. Among these, the fabulous Sarabha Murti is a hybrid form. This is supposed to have been assumed by Shiva in order to suppress the pride of Narasimha, the man-lion incarnation of Vishnu. That is also in a hybrid form. And we have sources from different agamas, that is Karanagama, Kamikagama, Sri Tattvanidhi, Uttara Karnagama, and Sarabhopanishad. So in all these agamas, the iconographic form of Sarabha has been described. And here, most of the illustration depicts Sarabha as trampling on Narsimha, and Narsimha is in Anjali pose, that the Vishnu has been subdued by Sarabha. And it is three-legged one, and sometimes with 2 hands, and sometimes with 4 hands, and sometimes with 8 hands, and 2 strong wings, and lion body and a tail, and 3 eyes, and side tusks. And he has shown as holding different attributes and weapons in his hands.
You have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I'll try to finish it up. So this is from Kambahariswara Temple, Tribhuvanam. And this is from Massachusetts Worcester Art Museum. And as I was told you that Sarabha was subdued by Gandabherunda, which was assumed by Lord Vishnu. And this is another personal collection. This is from of Mr. P. Sridhar from Tamil Nadu. That is, this is also a Sarabha thing. I'm not going to details because lack of time. And then this is from Ayavatheshwara Temple, Darasan, belongs to 12th century AD. And Mari Sahayeswara Temple, Virinchipuram. And this is the same temple that Temple Gopura has this one. And this is interestingly, this is from Trishulam Temple in Chennai. Here, instead of lion face, we'll see the human face, but 2 faces can be seen in this sculpture. So this type of animals are quite common in other religions also and other civilizations also. And the same thing, similar we can see in Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu is often after as the proper name of the Surabhi. And there are other names like Nandini and Surabhi for Kamadhenu. It's a bovine goddess. It's a wish-fulfilling cow goddess. And generally we see a general cow with other gods and goddesses depicted on it, and sometimes with wings and bricks. And actually, these are also presented as yeah. So Kamadhenu is a mythical cow-like being that grants wishes, has a popular and enduring presence in various art forms due to its alluring appeal in the cultural imagination. And Kamadhenu is a form of mysterious amalgamation of a symbol of infinity that endlessly teases human imagination. And Kamadhenu is also known as Surabhi in divine bovine goddess, described in Hinduism as Kaumata and mother of all cows. So she's a goddess of plenty. And she has also similarities with Al-Barak from Islam religion. And it's a...
I think your time gets over now.
Yeah. Al-Barak is an angelic form being with the head of a woman. And it is mentioned in the Quran as she is carried Prophet Muhammad to Jerusalem. And this is from Madurai Meenakshi Amman Temple, Vahana. And it's inside the different shrines. One is from Tambaram and one is from Bangalore. And here we'll see it's from Victoria and Albert Museum. And these are votive offerings, which are depicted differently with big breasts and wings. And these are metal representative of the Kamadhenu. And this is from Tanjavur painting. And we also have the similar types, Purusha Mrugas or Vyaghrapada. And these are all treated as the Vahanas, temple Vahanas. And these are Makaras. And now these amalgamated forms can be classified as partly human hybrids and non-human hybrids, combining 2 or more non-human animal species. Some hybrids, such as Ihamrigas, are the combinations of several ferocious animals. They are carved as the guardians of the temples to remove evil spirits. Some are the manifestations of gods, as in the case of Saravesa. Some are celestial beings like Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow, now used as Vahana in the procession. And some of these are carved according to the fancy of the sculptor. Man has always envied the powers of animals.
You exceeded your time because it's already 18 minutes.
Yeah, finish. Yeah. Conclusion. And his natural instinct was to complete himself in mythology with animal powers and became a super being. Mythology and folklore are full of animal-human hybrids. Most of these have been given divine status. They symbolize vices or virtues or the power of God and evil. So these creatures have often been incorporated in heraldry and architectural decorations. And the scholars of folklore and mythology, such as Joseph Campbell, maintain that these are psychological archetypes, ways of expressing our innate love-hate relationship with the animal side of ourselves from which we evolved. Others would view them less seriously as merely entertaining myths and stories, offering scary fun that requires no analysis. Thank you.
Can I have the next speaker, Mrs. M. Jayanti? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, it is there. Okay. Mrs. Jayanti is a research scholar with C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer Institute of Indological Research of the C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer Foundation, Chennai, for the last 3 years. Prior to her joining the institute, she was a teacher in history in one of the prestigious CBSE schools in Chennai for over 15 years. She is a postgraduate in history from University of Madras and also holds a B.Ed degree. Today, she will be presenting a paper on the unison in Shaivism and Vaishnavism, with specific reference to Ekambareshwara temple in Kanchipuram. They told 3:30.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to one and all here. Good afternoon, ma'am. So, I'm very privileged to make a presentation on unison in Shaivism and Vaishnavism with special reference to the temple of Ekambareshwara at Kanchipuram. Kanchipuram has carved out for itself an unique place in the art history of India. It is in this city we see some of the earliest structural temples and finest sculptures of Tamil Nadu. They range from Sangam age to modern times and possess exquisite gems belonging to the Pallava, Chola, Vijayanagar periods. In their religious affiliation, they belong to the Shaiva, Vaishnava, Buddhist and Jaina faiths, since all of them have flourished here with varying degree of popularity and patronage. Kanchipuram is referred as one of the Mokshapuris, cities that bestow emancipation on human beings. Ayodhya, Mathura, Haridwar, Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika and Dwaraka are the Mokshapuris. The phrase Nagareshu Kanchi hails the superior position of Kanchipuram it enjoys among all the cities. It is one of the Panchabhuta Kshetras. Kanchipuram represents the earth as referred to as Mukti Sthalam. It also has other names such as Satyajit Puri, Satyavrata Kshetram, Sripuram, Kailasam and Vaikuntham. It has infinite specialities, sacred for both Vaishnavites and Saivites, and it is dotted with temples that attract devotees of all sects. Adi Shankara got 3 temples built in the sacred city, Sri Kamakshi, Sri Ekambareshwara, and Sri Varadaraja. The biggest and most popular Shiva temple in Kanchi is Ekambareshwara. Here, Shiva is worshipped in the form of earth linga made out of river sand. The Gopura is a 9-story structure adorned with excellent sculptures. It is one of the tallest towers in South India. This tallest South Gopuram soars to the height of 192 feet. The dimensions of this temple spreads over 20-acre land. Lord Ekambareshwara was sung about in Devaram hymns by the Saiva saints. The temple was also mentioned in the Mahendravarma Pallava's works, Mattavilasa. Upper had addressed the Lord as Ekamba, Sthanu or pillar of fire. The temple has undergone vast structural expansions in the post-Pallava times because of the patronage lavished on it in the Chola and Vijayanagar periods. Like all other Pallava temples, there is an image of Somaskanda on a panel in the sanctum beside the Linga. The Valishwara shrine inside the temple near the tank still remains its Pallava character, having been built by Rajasimha. It is dedicated to Shiva as Mahakala and was probably a center of Kabalika school of Vaishnavism, Shaivism. The shrine in front of the main shrine complex on the eastern side is fine structure of the middle Chola period with excellent sculptures. It is known as Kachi Mayanam and was sung by the Nayanmars. The temple witnessed further expansions and beautifications during the Vijayanagar period. The outstanding additions was a gopura at the entrance, a gigantic structure of considerable grandeur and good sculptural and ornamental work. It was built during the reign of Krishnadevaraya in 1509 AD. It has the tallest gopura in Kanchi and is one of the most magnificent Raya Gopuras or royal gopuras of South India. The art and architecture of the temple is breathtaking. This temple consists of circumambulatory passages or prakaras. Immediately in front of the main gopuram of the south entrance, there is a vast open courtyard which leads to the two halls, namely Vahana Mandapa and Sarvesha Mandapa. The temple is embellished with some interesting bas-relief structures, predominantly done during Vijayanagara era. There are huge varieties of sculptures starting from the 16th pillar Mandapa. It would be an interesting puzzle to decipher these stories looking at the structures. The temple enshrines a 1,000-pillared hall built by the Cholas and renovated later by the Nayakas. The wedding ceremony of the Lord takes place at this hall on the Uttram star during the month of Pagmuni. The sanctum sanctorum consists of the linga, and behind this is a depiction of Shiva and Parvati as Taluva Kuraindar and Elava Kurali. In the first prakara, we find the statues of 63 Nayanmas, followed by 108 lingas. In the second prakara, we find Sagastra lingas engraved beautifully on a single linga in the open courtyard, a single mango tree. The amazing feature of this divine mango tree, under which goddess did penance and reached Lord Shiva, is that it has got 4 branches of varying taste of mangoes. It is believed that the 4 branches represents the 4 Vedas. This adds testimony to its divinity. The temple also possesses fine stone and metal specimen representative of Chola and Vijayanagar traditions. They are not only found in the enshrined images, but also as bas-reliefs on the pillars and plinths of the mandapas. The gods and goddesses, with their Abhaya and Varada Mudra, radiate the qualities of easy accessibility and graciousness. The icons of Nayanmas portray humility and simplicity. There is a good number of portraits, sculptures of kings, queens, chieftains with Vijayanagar royal dress. The sculptures found in Vahana Mandapa, Kalyana Mandapa shows remarkable variety in their themes and possess a great artistic form. Legend has it that once Lord Shiva was deeply engaged in the task of creation, protection, and destruction of the universe. Parvati, his consort, closed the eyes of Shiva with her 2 hands. The obstruction to the nature of law of nature created by the act of Parvati angered Shiva, and she was made to descend to earth and come to Kanchipuram to the bank of Kamba river. She made the Shivalinga out of river sand under a single mango tree and did penance for a long period. Shiva, before accepting her back to this place, created many obstacles and hindrances in the way of Parvati's penance to examine her sincerity. On the request of Parvati, Lord Vishnu helped her to overcome all difficulties created by Shiva. Finally, Shiva created a deluge by pouring the Ganges from his mated hair to wash the earth linga worshipped by Parvati. She elapsed the linga with all veneration and embraced it with her hands to her breasts, so as the linga could not be washed away by the water of Ganges. Shiva was pleased immensely and took her back as his consort. It is said that it is in this particular place where Lord Shiva forgave the goddess the temple has been constructed. In the same place, we find the sanctum of Lord Vishnu called Nilatunda Perumal. This sanctum is situated in the inner circle facing the west, opposite to Sri Egambareshwar. Lord Vishnu gave darshan in a standing posture, though confined to a small place, has spread its fame and name all over the world. Of the 12 Alvars, Tirumangai Alvar performed Mangala Sasanam, that is singing the praise of this place. Hence, this is one of the 108 Divya Desams of Vaishnavism. The story goes that when the ocean of milk was churned to bring out the nectar, there was also an appearance of Halakala, a dreadful poison. By the virulence of this poison, Lord Vishnu felt considerably burnt. It was here in Kanchi, through the cooling rays of the crescent of the moon on the head of Shiva, that he was comforted. Hence, he is called Nilatunda Perumal. This was particularly sung by Tirumangai Alvar in such a fashion and language that one cannot but keep the Lord confined to one's heart. This goes on to say and to show that Shaivism and Vaishnavism coexisted in Egambareshwar temple, which goes to prove that all gods are one, though with different names. The temple is flooded with devotees, and it is an exemplary proof that only true devotion is required to reach the path of salvation. The union is also seen in another Panchabhuta Sthala in Chidambaram, where Shiva as Nataraja, Vishnu as Govindaraja Perumal are being worshipped in the same temple. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Any questions, sir? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, shall we call upon the last presenter of the session, Dr. S.N. Shivadura Swami? Yeah, please. Dr. S.N. Shivadura Swami is a retired professor from Mysore, Karnataka.
Person, friends, title of my paper is Ashtadikpalaka panel at Aralaguppe in Tumkur district, Karnataka. This is the Ashtadikpalaka panel. It is in the ceiling of the Navaranga of the temple. This is Indra. Yama, guardian of the southern, guardian of the south direction, southern direction. Agni, southeastern direction. Niruti, it is a unique sculpture. Usually Niruti is depicted as riding on a man or a Rakshasa. Here he is riding on an ass. Varuna, guardian of the western direction. Vayu, Kubera, Ishana. It is profusely decorated, this panel only. Central one, that is Nataraja. Aruluguppe is a small village in Tiptur Taluk of Tumkur district, Karnataka. It is called Kalleshwara temple. So, this belongs to the reign of Satyavakya Rachamalla, the Ganga ruler of Talakad. There are three monuments in this village, earliest of which is a Kalleshwara temple. The next in the sequence of time is Channakeshava temple, built in the Hoysala style of architecture. There is no inscription in this temple which provides information about its construction. The sculptor of this temple is Hanoja, whose signature is found engraved on the pedestal of some images. He flourished in 1138 AD. From this fact, we can conclude that this temple was constructed in the first half of the 12th century. There is a ruined structure in the center of the village known as Palegar's Chowdi. This is said to be the court hall of local chief. We are concerned with the Kalleshwara temple of this place. Kalleshwara is the corrupt form of Kaleshwara, that is Shiva. To the northeast of the Channakeshava temple is the temple complex, close to the tank of the village. There are 5 independent temples known as Panchalinga. Among these temples, Kalleshwara is the biggest. It is a Ganga Nolamba monument of the early part of the 9th century. An inscription of the sluice of the nearby tank, dated 1091 AD, mentions the god Mahadeva, which in all probability refers to the Kalleshwara. Ashtadikpalaka panel. Kalleshwara temple is a plain and flat structure. The temple has a square Garbhagruha, an open Antarala, Sukhanasi, a square Navaranga, 16 into 16 feet. Its Navaranga has on north and south walls 2 pierced stone windows which are embellished with fine foliage designs. The doorway of the Navaranga is splendid work of the art. Its jambs have the figure of the seated Ganas and Shaiva Dwarapalas. Its vertical shakas or bands were decorated with foliage, scrollwork, rope designs. In the middle of the lintel is Gajalakshmi, above which are the reliefs of yakshas. In front of the doorway of the Navaranga is a big Nandi, by the sides of which are several independent and beautiful sculptures of Surya, Uma Maheshwara, Vishnu, etc. In the sides, inside the Navaranga, are beautiful columns surmounting the ceiling. Its ceiling is low and flat except for the central one, where Ashtadikpalaka panel is sculpted elegantly. The panel is 6 into 6 feet square and has 9 blocks. The central block has the depiction of Tandava Nataraja. It is a matchless work of art in the entire sculptural program of Indian subcontinent. In its corner, there are 4 Gandharvas flying towards Nataraja, holding large garlands of flowers to offer him. In the outer blocks are 8 Dikpalakas with their spouses on their respective Vahanas or mounts. The entire figure is well conceived and marvelously depicted. The concept of Dikpalaka, that is 8 quarters of universe governed by 8 guardian deities, is prevalent since the Vedic period. Buddhists and Jainas have also incorporated this conception in their text. In the later Vedic period, 2 more directions were added to this list, one above and the other below. Then there are totally 10 directions. Generally, 8 quarters are considered, 4 prime directions and 4 interdirections. Each direction is protected by an individual deity. The names of the interdirections and directions are derived from the names of the respective guardians. They are mentioned as under: Indra, the ruler of the east; Agni, the lord of southeast; Yama of the south; Nirruti of the southwest; Varuna of west; Vayu of the northwest; Kubera of the north; Ishana of the northeast. All the Dikpalakas are delineated in Kalleshwara temple surrounding the central panel where Tandava Nataraja is sculpted. There the deities are shown in a unique way. Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, Samarangana Sutradhara, Rupa Mandana, Hayashirsha Samhita, Padma Samhita, Ishana Samhita, Sri Kashyapa Shilpa Ratnam, Aparajita Prucha, etc. Provide a detailed information about the iconographic features of the Dikpalakas. The sculptors of the Dikpalaka panel under study have not followed the textual prescriptions of the above text strictly. Here, Dikpalakas are shown as having 2 arms. The right hand is in Pataka Hasta pose. They carry lotus bud or kundike in their left hand. Depiction of the Dikpalakas as having 2 hands seems to be the tradition prevalent from the ancient times. Bruhat Samhita, Matsya Purana, Agni Purana, Manasollasa prescribe that the Dikpalakas are delineated as having 2 hands only. The sculptors seem to be followed this tradition. As the Puranic gods, Shiva and Vishnu, gained prominence in later times, the Vedic gods lost their significance and eventually they remained as Dikpalakas. The sculptors of the Ashtadikpalakas of Kalleshwara temple Aralaguppe worked independently, deviating from most of the textual prescriptions. And at the same time, they have not neglected general thematic axiom of the Shilpa text. Nevertheless, they introduced some novel features in their depiction. It is a well-composed panel consisting of 9 blocks. These blocks have sculptural representation of the 8 guardian deities. Here, their execution is marvelous and unsurpassed. 8 cardinal regions are.
So you have just 1 minute left, sir. Just 1 minute left. 1 minute left. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದೆ. ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿದೆ. ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಸರ್. ಟೈಮ್ ಮುಗ್ದಾಯ್ತು. ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್.
I read a description of 1 guardian deity. Remaining 7 are almost similar. Then I conclude it. Indra is the lord of the eastern quarter. He was the most prominent god in the early Vedic period. He was the protector of gods and presides over Swarga paradise. Indra is represented the eastern block of the Dikpalakas as riding on the heavenly elephant Airavata, along with the spouse Indrani or Shachi. Indra is adorned with Karanda Makuta, a crown, Makara Kundala, Hara, Yagnopavita, Udara Bandha, tight-fitting breeches, Kataka, well-ornamented Kayura, He is on the oval-shaped mattress placed on the back of Airavata, fastened to its belly with a triple rope. His right hand is in Pataka Hasta. He carries Kundike in the left hand. Kundike is the leaf-like sheath containing the flowers of plantains. Aparajita Prucha prescribes the Indra should carry Kundike in his left hand. His spouse Indrani, Shachi, is behind him, sharing the mattress placed on Airavata. She is adorned with Damila, Rutta Kundala, a round ear ornament, bracelets, bangles, mekala, padavalaya, finger rings, toe rings. Like Indra, her right hand is in Pataka Hasta, Mudra, and she holds Utpala in her left hand. Amshumat Bedagama describes that Indrani should carry Utpala or Nilotpala flower in her left hand. The sculptor observed the text to some extent with some modifications.
So shall we conclude?
Wait.
Because you will be giving this for publication, so then your details would be included therein. So because you're not, the photograph is not shown. So you've already shown the photograph, so it was quite explicit what you're trying to say right now.
This is Nirruti. Nirruti is also a Vedic god.
Sir, we'll have
wait.
to keep up with time. I'm really sorry about it because the organizers have to arrange a valedictory function. So since we have seen your slide, we will come to a halt with this presentation and then sum up. I'm sorry that it is encroached upon the time given to us. I hope you would understand, Professor.
It is not yet started.
No, we have given you 15 minutes of time. So that time has over. Now we have to get to the closing ceremony and we have to move out of the hall. I hope you would understand me. And please conclude. I told you twice that we have to conclude.
Conclusion. The execution of the Dikpalaka panel of Kaleshwara temple at Aralaguppe is marvelous and unsurpassed. Artists expressed unrivaled skill in making the sculptural wealth. 8 Dikpalakas are shown with their consorts mounted on their vehicles. Each one of the deities is executed in a beautiful way with less but delicate and required decorations. This suggests that each figure is the source of power and energy and incomparable beauty. The consorts of the Dikpalakas are comparatively less ornamented. As expected, the Devis should have more embellished with the various types of ornaments than their spouses. But here they are not highly decorated. This clearly shows that the prominence is given to male deities only. Nirruti is usually depicted as riding a man everywhere. Here he is delineated as riding an ass. Ishana, who represents Shiva, is not depicted like other Dikpalakas. He is chiseled out with his entourage. This is a rare feature. Thus, the artist introduced novel ideas in his magnificent works of art. The Dikpalakas and their consorts wear rings on their fingers of both hands, but there is no ring on the middle finger of the Pataka Hasta of both gods and goddesses. In the central panel, Shiva is molded as a cosmic dancer. The movement of his limbs are rhythmic and the posture is graceful. He is the perennial source of cosmic power and energy. His actions is said to be fivefold. Panchakrutya, they are Srishti, creation, Sthiti, preservation, Samhara, dissolution, Tirobhava, wheeling, Anugraha, grace. In this panel, Nataraja performs Sandhya Tandava dance through which he protects entire universe.
Thank you, Professor. Okay, this session had 6 papers. I think Akhil's presentation, we had already made the comment what has to. And Dr. Sumabala also had her presentation, which overshot the time, but definitely she had some very interesting slides. So naturally, it went on to the thing. And Sandhya Lakshmi madam, I'm sorry that I perplexed you with the time factor and you went into nervous state. I'm sorry about it. But you had really good slides which we could follow anyway. And Jayanti madam, also your presentation was good. And Shiva Sundaraswamy sir, your presentation, yeah. You have utilized the 15 minutes, you went to close to 20 minutes. But the problem is once you stand there, you don't know how the time passes. So I don't blame you for it. But your presentation was interesting because we had already seen the slides. In art history, once you show the slide, you're speaking to an audience who are related from art history. So we already grasp what is the time period, what is the features which you're trying to say, we've already known. So you don't have to exemplarily read it out again. So you were actually reading it out, which we had already noticed. So it was coming as a repetitive effort. That is why I had to put this thing. So, but definitely they were interesting sculptures, no doubt. Yeah, I know the most irritatable person in any this thing would be the chairperson who will say that time. So I know that I didn't want to chair it. I had told that somebody else to chair it. So they said, no, you please. So I know it is the most irritating part for participants who this thing. They would feel that their time has been encroached upon. But as I told you, once you stand there, you do not realize that you have actually exceeded the time given to you. So, but it was definitely, those sculptures were interesting. So thank you everyone for presenting the papers, and we brought to a session at the right time. We have concluded, and thank you everyone, and thank you organizers for having me chair this academic session. Thank you one and all. And I think yeah.
Thank you, sir, for keeping it in time and finish on time. Sorry, everybody, that we have a stipulated time, and at 4 o'clock we are having our valedictory. After the memento presentation, we will break for tea. Then exactly at 3:50, we will be gathering in the main hall for the valedictory. Okay. So I request the chairperson, Professor Ajit Kumar, to give away this mementos to the paper presenters. First, Mr. K.N. Akhil. ஆனா அப்படியே Person Professor Ajit Kumar.
Action for the photograph. No, wait. Ma'am first. Okay. The more the merrier.
After tea, we will come at 3:50 in the main hall for the valedictory. Thank you.